there's my husband and I, there's my husband and, his part, and his partner. Then there's all of us. Then there's me and her,
children.
yeah, then there's kids. We have family time. We have, so it's like there's several different relationships going on. Wow. And because these, I love these two, I want to show my appreciation, and I'm sending y'all on a trip. Get out of here. Bye, kids.
Yeah. My friends be like, she's sending you and her? You going
really? No, she ain't going. Now we have done a trip with all three of us. Okay. We have, but like I said, that's our time. And then me and my husband will go by ourselves, and then him and her went by themselves.
Yeah. That's what, bro, again, I tell you, that was the part of the conversation that made my nosy ass go ahead and say, hey, listen, I need to interview.
I didn't even know where he came from. He leaned all the way in.
I was like, hey, look, I was like, look, I got a podcast. I swear, because I'm saying, how you hear conversations, you places and you hear conversations and you don't really pay no attention. But when I heard the word poly, my ears perked up. And then when she bust out, I flew my man with a girl. I was like, hey, can I get you on my podcast?
Yeah, I'm gonna need to holler at you.
Yeah, because I'm gonna need you to share that. Trust me, I got a whole audience.
Right.
All right. I only got I think I got two more questions actually. Because one part of a dynamic I really would like to talk about, and then I have one more question. So I really got two more questions, and then that'll be it. The next question, and it comes from what you guys just brought up. How do you raise kids? I'm trying. Y'all, I know y'all got it, but that's why I'm trying to figure out how to properly ask the question. Wow. How do you raise kids in this type of, because just before you answer, I just want to explain. My cousin, who I do the show with, where this show is going to be aired, she's a lesbian. She's a stud. She's straight up into her thing. She's actually divorced now, but she was married. She gave birth to a kid, all that. So her son, she's my first cousin. So her son, low key, I call him my nephew, but he's a well-rounded kid. He's 2 years old. But he's being raised having, it's funny, his demographic is two moms. My moms aren't together, so I stay with this mom. So the same thing is just, instead of having a dad and a mom, he's just got two moms. So what I want to ask you both is, in a setting such as this, how do you teach and raise the kids? Like, just curious, what kind of message do you guys think the kids are receiving from something like this?
Well, biologically, I have two. Okay. We have no children. We have no children together. Okay. Biologically, I have two. My daughter now is 24. She doesn't live in the house, and my son is now 17. So if you back up 14, 15, 16, 17, I think my son was about 13, 14. Okay. And my husband, in our household, we have two, 12 and now 12 and 10. So I guess
those are his biological children.
Those are his biological children.
12 and 10. Okay.
12 and 10. So as far as my kids, my kids didn't know, hadn't poly, none of that. How it came about, my husband at the time we were just dating, but he was taking my son to school one morning. And apparently he was on the phone with someone. And I don't know it wasn't a disrespectful conversation, but it made my son's antennas, because with the boys, they already looking for a reason, for somebody to be dismissed.
Yeah.
So my son had the kind of radio he had, it had on the Bluetooth, it had the person's name and telephone number. So he took a picture of it. My son was, he was getting his receipts together. And he came to me. He came to me later and said, Mom, I need to talk to you about something. I'm like, okay. He goes, I know you're probably not gonna believe me. He goes, but Antoine's cheating on you. And I'm like, oh, okay, son, what you got? Why? I think I said something like, well, why do you say that? And then he told me that, he was on the phone talking to this woman, and he goes, and here, I took a picture and he showed me and I saw the name and I was like, Oh boy, here we go. So I had to, I had to, I told him I would have a talk with him later. I needed time to, gather my thoughts, and I had to talk to this one right here and let him know, you've been had. No, but busted, right? You're busted. But no, I talked to him, and I told him, I explained to him what poly was, and kind of gave him the rated G version. You know, Antoine will have other girlfriends, and it's something that I'm aware of, and I will always know, what's going on. Nothing is done behind my back. Nothing is done disrespectfully. Your mom is not a doormat. Your mom is not being used. It's not brainwashing. I just had to ensure him of these things. And one of the questions that he concerned and he teared up about was, when his friends come to the house, of course, kids think about this, when his friends come to the house, well, mom, are you gay? Are you, what, he's thinking, I'm sure he was thinking, and I told him,
judgment.
Right. And I told him, everything will be as normal as you are used to. I said, there will not be, anybody running around naked pinching tail in front of your friends. And, it's not going to be weird. I promise you, we run a normal, lifestyle.
And I think with my boys, being that they're younger, and like my lifestyle has never been a secret, ever. When I figured out who I was and what was comfortable for me, I made sure everybody knew, because I come from a big family and I don't need nobody asking no questions and whispering behind, hey, so you're aware now. But like when it came to my boys, and just the kids, period, especially when all three of us are in the house together, I'm very thoughtful about what's going on around me. And I know they are as well. So, you might get you might get a hug, but it ain't no kissing and smooching and, grabbing and gripping. And, we do that behind closed doors or, in the later part of the day or something like that. Or, we go get a room for that. You know what I'm saying? But, we have to be mindful of the children, because some things, is taboo, unorthodox to some, confusing at a very early age, and things need to be, explained. And most definitely, I don't want my boys to think that, one, it's not okay. One, it's okay, but it's not okay to lie. It's not okay to deceive. You understand? There's nothing wrong with you liking two girls, because, they're young. You're going to be liking. This is just liking right now. You ain't loving nothing, but there's nothing wrong with you liking that girl and you liking that girl. Just let them know, hey, I like you and I like you too. And if y'all okay about it, y'all ain't got to be jealous about each other. I'm teaching them early, teaching them, because the boys are attractive. They're gonna, hey, shit.
Comes with the territory. Comes with the
Might
territory.
as well prep them now.
It comes with the
Prep them now.
Man.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say the last relationship the last relationship we had, it ended up being like, and I let my kids, my son, the kids, his boys, I let everything happen organically. That's our number one thing, is to let everything flow. And it became to the point where my son would call her, hey girl, what you doing? Well, are you coming over today? I'm gonna be cooking later on. I'm cooking for the dinner. You want some? Right, my son's making beignets. So it became a support system. When the kids had awards, she was there, and they would be calling upon her. My 24-year-old, I explained to her, what was going on, and she would be calling her. They, so it was like everybody began to have their own relationship, and that's beautiful. That's how it should be. I'm not going to force anything on you. I'm not going to force it. It was beautiful.
What's so crazy? That relationship was with a woman that I had dated years before I even know.
It was an ex.
It was an ex.
That's beautiful. Boy, you got some
They,
sauce,
they
man.
speak like that. Yeah. Yeah. They was.
Boy, you. Ooh,
It didn't even start off like that. I was like, all right, what's this got to do with me? All right.
Antoine got that sauce, man. I'm telling you. So, man, before I ask this last question, I truly want to. Well, actually, you know, I got two more because I forgot you told me you guys were into BDSM too.
Yes.
Right.
I want you to give a little bit of So yeah, that's my matter of fact. Yeah, that's my second to last question because my last question is, I think it's a sweet question, the last one, but I don't have any detailed questions about BDSM. But can you guys explain that part of your lifestyle to the audience as best you
He
know?
beat my ass. No, I'm kidding.
She ain't lying.
That's the first thing people will go. I ain't gonna be beating on me. That's what the white people do.
Have you walking around in a dog collar and leash on?
Right. Yeah, you know, when the children come home from school, you know, I'm there with a dog collar and chain.
Hell yeah. Hilarious.